To see, is anyone signed on yet? It takes a second.
Yeah,
to,
it does.
Get it.
Good morning.
Get it going. Get it going. So good morning, everyone. I'm excited to be here this morning with Aqura Nicholson.
Yes.
Okay, Aqura Nicholson. She is a fellow Wahoo, and I met her through the Chamber of Commerce Charlottesville Businesswomen's Roundtable.
Yes.
I loved when you spoke.
Thank you.
There. And she is a money coach. She's a money coach. She's going to talk to us this morning about dollars. That's something that all of us need. We have to have money to survive. So I thought it was a wonderful way to start off our new year. When we start off our new year, we're thinking about budgeting and what brings the year ahead. So I am going to allow Aqura to tell us a little bit more about herself and about her business this morning. And thank you all for tuning in. As I always say, when you come in my house, let me know you're here. Say good morning. Drop the comments in the box. Let us know where you're from and where you're tuning in from.
Yes. Good morning, everyone. I'm so glad that we were finally able to get together and do a live. And like Renee said, we met a Businesswomen's Roundtable, and I did a presentation about how to maintain your expenses. And that's something that I've been talking about with my clients, because as a money coach, what I want to help my clients do is be able to manage the money that they have right now, because we can get so ahead of ourselves and be like, we're ready to earn more money. We're ready to start, applying for jobs. That's $20,000, $30,000 more dollars. And then when we get there, it's like, wait, I was better off at this previous salary because I didn't have all this extra money to just kind of lose track of. Mm-hmm. And so what I really like talking about is when you know how to manage the money that you have right now, you're already set up for when you earn more money. You already know where you want it to go. You already know how much you're spending on a consistent basis on things like food, on things like clothes, on things that we always feel like we're overspending on. When we learn how to spend consistently now, it sets us up for even more success, because when we get to the earning more money, it's like, well, now we can actually go to the vacation. Mm-hmm. Now we can actually go to the down payment for a home, because we're not trying to backtrack and clean up the things that we needed to do before we started earning more. And so one thing I've been seeing this year, especially even with some of my clients, is they get so excited about the shiny thing. And when I say the shiny thing, it's like the home, right? Mm-hmm. The vacation, they want to start saving for their kids' college, whatever these grand goals are. And I'm like, those are amazing. I know you want to have a rental property, and it is totally possible for you. The first thing to do is to learn how to manage what you have right now, so that you're not jumping ahead to step 10. Then when you get to step 10, you feel good for a day or two, and then it's like, oh crap, well, what am I going to do with all these things that now I robbed Peter to pay Paul? Yeah. I moved money here because I needed the down payment, but now I need to go back and figure out how I'm going to take care of this stuff that I skipped over. Yeah. And so when I talk about the shiny thing, right, I'm talking about these big things that we want to do, and we want to be able to enjoy them peacefully and not have to be stressed out when we get there. When we're on vacation, we don't want to be thinking about, well, dang, all right, when I get home, I got this due the same day. I don't get paid until 5 days later. It's like, how can we just enjoy the vacation, enjoy the new home without still being stressed out about things that we could have cleaned up before? Yeah. So that's something that I feel like is one of the biggest mistakes, is that people think earning more is going to solve their problems, when really it just exposes your money management. It exposes if you were focusing on managing your money before, or if you thought that earning more would solve kind of some of the issues that you are experiencing now. And when I talk about managing, I don't mean, and this is another thing, just cutting your budget in half. That's actually what you don't want to do. Because saying, okay, I'm spending, this is everyone's New Year's thing. I'm spending too much money on food. Aqura, I'm spending $1,000 on food a month. I'm like, okay, let's talk about, what's happening on a week-to-week basis. They're like, I'm spending $1,000. I want to spend $500 because I want another $500 to go to this goal. But the thing is, people don't know what $500 gets them. Does that mean that you have to cook every single day? And if that does, is that something that you can do? Because let's not start doing something in January that we can't see ourselves doing in April.
Well, one of the things that you've jumped into is you're saying like people know what they're spending. I think the first step though that you're saying is to know what you're spending, because I know a lot of folks, my husband just spends and doesn't even think about it. And so I think can you talk a little bit more to us about how, when people experience coaching with you, like what are the first steps? Because I kind of feel like that has to be one of your first steps. And the reason I say this because my background is actually in banking. And so that was one of the first things that I talk to people about. Like, you have to know what you are spending, first of all, in order to fix any problem with your finances.
Yeah, so the very first thing that we do in the first session is I address whatever you feel like is bringing you the most frustration. Because if you don't do that first, when we talk about what you're actually spending, you're not ready to have that conversation. You're stressed, you're overwhelmed, and you feel guilt. So that's the first thing. But because it allows us to, what I call, know your numbers. And when I say know your numbers, it's like, usually people can tell me how much their mortgage is. You can tell me how much your cell phone bill is. And those things are easy, right?
Yeah.
Then when we get into, okay, well, how much are you spending outside of that? That's where I'm able to come with my expertise and walk people through to see how much they're actually spending as opposed to how much they think they're spending. Because those are always two different things. And sometimes we find that I find that with my clients, they think they're actually spending more than they are. So that happens a lot of times as well, because what happens is they're like, I know I'm going out to eat 3 times a week, or I know I am going to Old Navy too many times. But what they're not doing, and what we can't do, is do mental math in our head all the time. It's like and it's funny because people are like, I don't want to budget, I don't want to see the numbers, and so then they try to do it in their head, and their numbers are all off. And what that does, it creates this disconnect of what's actually happening and what you think is happening. So I've seen both situations where people think they're spending more than they're spending, or they think they're spending less than they're actually spending. But to your point, that is all a part of knowing your numbers, because you can't go to the next step unless you actually know what you're working with. And what I call it is like, what is your baseline? Like, what is your baseline? Because people talk about safety a lot in finances. And I was just having a conversation and someone's like, okay, safety means bringing in this much money. It means having this much money in the bank. And I was like, okay, but what is it that you actually need? Because we have to be able to create some sort of reference point for ourselves. You can think safety is $20,000 when really you might just need $10,000. And how can we just start there? Like, bring that to a starting point, because it's going to be so much easier for you to wrap your mind around getting to 10,000 as opposed to 20,000 if you're already struggling with saving.
I love
right?
that. Yeah, absolutely. I love that. And keyword saving. So talk to us a little bit about what that conversation sounds like. And I would love to know, like, what's a common theme that you've seen with your clients when it's around saving?
The most common theme around saving is if they can't save X amount, they think that it's not even worth it at all. So for example, if you say you want to be able to save $500 a month and you can only save $200, it's not worth it to save the $200, so you don't save at all. And then you get in the cycle of doing this from month to month, and then you never get to actually saving, when really it could look like, how could I just start with saving $100 each pay period? Now I'm at $200. Can I maintain that for 2 months? Okay, let's go to $200 per pay period. Now you're at $400 a month, and you do that for another. How can you just work your way there? Again, this shiny thing, you want to get to the 500, but because you might not be able to do that right now, you think that it's not worth it at all. And so we never even get to give ourselves the grace to build up to that at all. So that's the first thing I see. And then people are like, well, how much should I save? As there's some magical number. And where I come from, like how I try to approach it is what's actually realistic. What is realistic? Because it's the habit more than the number. It's always the case with money. It's more so the habit than the number. If you can just get into a habit of saving, it makes it easier for you to go in and transfer the money, or to go in and set up an automatic transfer instead of thinking about, well, what's the perfect number? What should I start with? What do you think? It's like, well, how can we just get in the habit? And if we can add to it, let's add to it. If it's too much, it's like, okay, well, let's back down a little bit next month.
Well, you mentioned habits, and in order to create habits, we have to shift our mindset. So it sounds like that's exactly what you do.
Exactly.
It's very intertwined with what I have to do. I'm a personal stylist, and it's about helping people understand that if you play up your strengths, they're gonna overshadow those weaknesses, and that's how you can build confidence. In which I'm loving those are the steps that you do in order to help people to be confident with their dollars.
Yes, and what happens is they talk more about money. And when I say talk more about money, they're having more conversations in their homes with their spouses or their partners about money, which then lessens the amounts of arguments and actually helps them have productive conversations to be on the same page about joint finances. That's what I see happening the most when people are getting confident with their money, is that they come to me like, oh yeah, I talked to my husband about like this vacation that we've been talking about, but we've never been able to make it happen because we weren't able to have conversations about money, right? And so when we are able to have this safe space in just a one-on-one setting, talk about money, reduce some of the shame, reduce some of the guilt. You actually know your numbers. You actually know what you're talking about. Now you're building up that confidence in yourself to be able to have the conversation with the next person. So how I see people being more confident with their money is that they come to me, not saying that they are more confident, but they come to me saying, oh, yeah, me and my husband talked about this last night. Whereas before we even started working together, they're like, I don't even know how to approach it. Like, I don't want to have any conversations with my spouse at all because it's just so much tension. And they don't even realize that they've gotten over that whole hurdle because they're more confident about their money.
That's awesome. That's awesome and key to a happy life.
Yes. Yes.
Do you want to see if we have any questions in the comments?
Yeah, sure.
So far?
Let's see.
I know I can't see this far away, and I'm gonna check on.
I don't see any here, at least in
okay, on
Instagram.
All right.
Okay. And we're at 10:15. So if you want to, yep.
Good deal. So Akira, tell us a little bit because Akira has to go to another appointment. So I want to be mindful of her time. Tell us how to get in contact with you, and who do you think needs to get in contact with you?
Sure. So again, I'm a money coach. I help serve women. It doesn't mean that I will not help men. I have helped men in the past, but I get that question. So I'm like, my target is women because I know how much society has put these labels on us. Like, we're only spenders. We're not able to save money. It's like, that's not true. We can do it too. And we usually make it really hard on ourselves when it comes to managing money, right? So I serve women, I serve part-time and full-time entrepreneurs, and I help them get out of the paycheck to paycheck cycle in 60 days. And what I mean by that is knowing your numbers, knowing exactly not what you should be doing, but how to do it in between paychecks, right? Or in between when you're paying yourself as a full-time business owner, so that you can actually focus on your business. You can actually focus on the goals that you want to get to, because you're not constantly thinking about, oh, is that bill due? Oh, did I take money from here? Oh, what do I need to do tomorrow? We take care of that. We make it so that you have this seamless money system where you aren't manually paying bills. You aren't having to check your bank account all the time. And what I love the most is that we're able to do it without some strict budget. Like, you're not having to go in your plan and write down, oh, I did this transaction, this transaction, this transaction. I make it really seamless because as women, we have all these responsibilities. Like, that's the last thing we need is to add 10 more tasks to our daily list that we know we can't do on a day-to-day basis. So that's what I mean by getting out the paycheck to paycheck cycle in 60 days, so that you can actually achieve your financial goals and bring those to the forefront instead of thinking about bills all the time. You can find me at my website, www.aquranicholson.com. It's on my Instagram page. You can also find me on Facebook. I think Crystal's going to tag me in that. And what it looks like for us to work together is you just book a call with me. We really have a conversation with what are the things that's coming up for you right now, what are the things that are stressing you out the most, and what will be most beneficial for you to walk out with and saying, oh my gosh, like, I am managing my money, I'm confident about it, I know exactly what I'm doing, I know my numbers, I know I'm on track to the next vacation or down payment for my home. And that's what my clients are really able to walk away with. We work together for 4 months and we meet weekly. So again, not only do you know your numbers, you have accountability every single week with a money coach that's going to help you work through anything that might come up that you didn't even know existed before, like guilt about spending on yourself, or shame about the debt that you have. That's something that I see a lot. And so we're able to work through those things so that you stay on track to your goal and those feelings are not kind of overtaking and overwhelming all the progress that we've done up to that point. And again, find me on my Instagram. You can find all the links there, or on Facebook, or on my website.
One thing that I've been following your newsletters, and lately you've been talking about debt, like, and I think you did a live, and you were talking about how the clients were paying back all their debt, like putting their money towards a debt, because and that resonated with me, because I have always been a one person that, like, I hate debt. I'm like, oh, I want to be debt free. I want to be debt free. And then just listening to what you were saying of you don't want to put all of your money towards your debt, then you're not saving over here. And I was like, oh, that really resonated with me, and especially like being in business as well. I know that this is very true. Like, if you have a handle on your finances, you do feel more confident about your business, and that comes through. And right now, I know personally, I am struggling with anxiety and feeling overwhelmed because I had a very, what's the right word? I had an incident with a horrible bookkeeper last year, and it messed my mentality up. And so I just, like, listening to the things that you have said, I realized, like, I really need to take some time and heal from that. Yes. So I can regain my trust when it comes to my business finances, especially, and get back on track, because that rattled me, and it got me off of my typical routine, and now my QuickBooks is backed up, and so it's like, you have to, like, sift through those things and get organized. So I'm up here, like, listening to you, like, Akira and I may be becoming one of your clients, because it's, go ahead.
Like Crystal said, until you hear about things that other people are going through, you don't know if you're going through it as well, because you normalize how you're feeling and you try to, like, suppress those things. And just like Crystal said, she didn't even realize that she needed time to just heal from having a poor experience with a situation in her business. But she wouldn't have got there if she wasn't hearing some of these different things that are going on with other women as well that are going through, maybe if it wasn't exactly the same, something similar. And I love that you brought up debt, because what I find is people are like, all right, I know I got to pay my debt off, and I'm going to do that by paying an extra, let's say $100 on each card every month. Well, now you've got 5 cards, you're spending $500 across all those cards, instead of, which is what I help my clients is, again, find their baseline. What are you obligated to pay? Let's just do that for 2 months. now you see the money that you have to work with. Where do you want it to go? Now you get to choose. Now you get to have that freedom over your money. And that's building up your confidence even more, because it's not feeling like, oh, it's just going right out the door. I have no control over my money. It's like sometimes we let these ideas and these expectations that we should be debt free lead us where we actually have more control than we think. But we don't realize how much those phrases and how much those expectations are impacting us. We don't allow ourselves to heal from it, and then they just start to take over. And just like you said, before you know it, now you're all backed up. Now you think like, oh man, I feel so bad. How did I not catch this? How did I not see this was happening? And then it causes even more shame and guilt. And those are the things that we're actually able to address in money coaching. And someone could say, well, I can just Google these things. I can just Google like how to get out of debt. What Google doesn't know is how you feel. What I'm able to understand by talking with you and by getting to know you is how those things actually make you feel, and the best way for you to be able to address those things, because everyone's different. Google doesn't know that. AI doesn't know that. But a person that's able to actually see what are the things that's bringing, like some of my clients literally just need to cry. Google can't see tears. It's like Google doesn't know what to do with it. Google doesn't even know the tears are there. But it's those things I'm like, okay, we need to spend more time here. This is clearly creating a lot of feelings that we need to address before going forward. And that's the thing I actually love about coaching, because it's not just about the strategy, because if that was the case, we can just read a book. You can cry on the book all you want, but the book can't now tell you what, can't come up with new words and new steps to deal with the tears, so that now you can even process the next 2 chapters. So I love that you brought that up.
Absolutely. And just to kind of shift a little bit to touch base on what's happening with Renee's Boutique, because that's a great segue to tell y'all. One of the things that has also been contributing to my anxiety is what I'm about to share with you all right now. And that is that I am going to have to temporarily close my showroom for prayerfully 4 weeks, because I am going to get surgery next week, and the recovery time is 6 weeks, but hopefully I will be good to go in 4.
Praying for a good surgery and great recovery.
Thank you. And so that I wanted to share that with you all, that while I will not be able to provide your services at the showroom until February 21st. My calendar is open at reneesboutiquellc.com through the entire month of March, as well as leading up to April. So you can book your bra fittings, your styling sessions, your personal brand styling sessions with me. I will be back February 21st. And right now, to kick off the new year, I am having a winter clearance event. We still will be processing online orders. Just give us a little bit of grace that first week of my surgery, but I still have some wonderful folks that are going to help me to process online orders, so you can still shop online at reneesboutiquellc.com. And we have the winter clearance event happening now. It's BOGO on the entire site, all of our collections. You buy one item and get the second item for 50% off. So happy shopping on me.
And for my followers who may not be familiar with Renee's Boutique, tell us about what they can find on your website or in the shop when it reopens or until it closes.
So I'm going to be here this week. So today is Walk-In Wednesday at Renee's Boutique. I'm going to be here 11 a.m. to 6 p.m. And Renee's Boutique, I started my boutique 9 years ago. I am a certified personal stylist. I am helping women and men to feel empowered and confident through the clothes that you wear. And as I was chatting with Akira this morning, we have talked about how important it is to kind of shift your mindset around being confident. And when you have a styling session with me, very much so similar to Akira, like we're gonna go through your lifestyle. Every person is completely different. Every person has different personalities. And I want you to be able to put your best foot forward. And I will go through a series of processes measuring you, as well as doing drape tests, color analysis tests, to make sure that you are choosing garments and being intentional with the colors that you wear that will complement not only your personality, but also contribute to the success of your career and your lifestyle.
I love that.
Thank you.
I've never thought about color matching, but it's funny, like I never thought about it in that sense, but I have noticed what colors look good, at least what I think look good, and how those are not the colors that I would normally choose. Like those are not the colors that I'm usually drawn to. So it's interesting.
Yes, yes. And a lot of people don't know that we all have like warm undertones, or some of us have cool undertones, and like there's different colors that will bring those out, that'll warm your skin tone, make you look brighter. And when you look good, it's true. Like you absolutely feel good.
Yeah.
So.
And I'm sitting here looking like that orange color is so pretty on you. And that's one of the colors. I'm like, I would never go to an orange, like, but I'm like, wow.
Thank you.
So it looks so good.
Oh, well, thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you. I appreciate that. But yeah, I'm trying to think. I'm trying to see if we can like carry the phones around, because I would love to show you guys a tour of the showroom.
Let's do it.
Quick virtual tour of the showroom.
Each platform.
Yeah. So if you haven't came to Renee's just yet, back here where Akira and I were doing the interview, these are, this is the lingerie section. This is where I do the bra fittings, as well as back there. I usually don't have my backdrop blocking it, but that is where the dressing rooms are. And this is where the magic happens for your bra fittings. And bra fittings are so important for every single woman. It feels great. It's wonderful when you have a bra that fits. I just want to show you all my mannequin here, because this young lady is dressed with the perfect winter pieces. We have the capes, the art and scarf glove set, which feels so luxurious. It's so soft. And I love that this material is a wonderful cashmere feel material that actually washes very nicely. So check that out on our site, as well as all of the accessories. And inside our showroom here, we have all of the pieces that are actually available online. And I also have a drop ship collection called the Trendsy collection, with even more pieces on our online site. And this is our little corner for your adorable littles. We still have a few of our animal LED light up hats, perfect for this cold weather that's happening. And accessories. We have these gorgeous calendars. The Black History calendar has all of the influential African Americans on it. The Total Praise, Good Sunday Morning. And I have just a few planners left. And this is so cool, Akira. You will appreciate this. Every month has a monthly budget where you can write out. And I love it because you can have everything in one place for your planner. So come and check me out.
The dresses?
Oh, yes. That's our jean wall over there. We have several different styles of jeans and pants. And then this is the dress wall over here. We have some lovely dresses for either a special event, church, and definitely for the office. And accessories are up there as well. And I actually support local consigners. So a lot of those necklaces up there are actually handmade by people right here in Seaville. So I am here all day, 11 a.m. till 6 p.m. Today's Walk-In Wednesday. And I'm taking appointments this week for Thursday as well as Saturday. And then I have availability for appointments on Monday and Tuesday. And then you all will be able to access my calendar and get on my books for when I return on February 21st. Yes.
Thank you. Let's switch to both of us.
Alrighty. Akira, thank you so much.
Thank you all for tuning in.
Absolutely. Thank y'all for tuning in. And I hope y'all have a wonderful day.
Bye. Have a good day, everyone.